Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I know, it's not Sunday. Life got in the way and I got busy, but I am also a believer in everything happens for a reason and I believe in divine timing. So there was a reason why I did record this video when I was supposed to and put it out until today. What's that reason? I don't know. Maybe I'll find out in the future. But with all that being said, today's episode will cover me sharing my story, sharing my truth around the details of my abuse. It is a very sensitive topic. It is very heavy. So I ask that if it becomes too much, that you pause, take a break. Hell, you might not even want to finish the whole video once you hear all the details. But I just encourage you that if you can, just to power through it, because this isn't just my story. It's so many other people's story. I just have the strength and the courage to share. And I hope that me sharing gives those people the strength to do the same. So with all that being said, I'll just kind of jump right into it. I am the oldest of four. I lived with my grandma until the age of 9. I begged my grandma to go move with my mom because my mom had 2 other children and I really wanted to be with my siblings. Little did I know that my life was about to change forever. So I graduated, well, not graduated. Well, I guess I graduated the 3rd grade. So I was 9 at the time. And once school was finished, my grandma packed me up and sent me to Charlotte with my mom. And I was so excited because I wanted to live with my mom so bad. My grandma had raised me from the time I was a baby up until when she moved, well, sent me to live with my mom. So it was something I never got to experience. Well, my mom had a boyfriend. And it's not a new boyfriend. It's not somebody that I didn't know. He has been around since I was 1 year old. So this is someone that I looked at as my father. He bought me my first bike. He bought me gifts. He was always around. My mom was there. He came to visit me when she came. Like, he was a constant in my life as well. So the first time it happened, my mom went to the movies with her best friend and we were left alone. I remember him asking me to come into bed with him and watch a movie. Well, and this is very hard, so stay with me. Got in the bed with him, not knowing, kids get in bed with their dad all the time. And next thing I know, he was rubbing on my nipples. Mind you, I'm 9. I don't have any breasts. I wish I could show. I'm gonna post a picture of me at 9 years old. And even if I did have breasts, I was 9. But I digress. He started rubbing on my nipples, and then next thing I know, I felt my panties come down, and I felt something going between my butt. I now know that that was Vaseline. He used Vaseline as lube in my butt, and then he tried to penetrate me. It hurt so bad, so bad. But I just remember just laying there until he was done doing whatever he was doing, and I felt wet stuff in between my butt. He went and got a rag, cleaned me up, put up my panties, and that was it. That was the day that my life changed forever. After that happened, I went to my cousin's house because she lived in the same complex, but she wasn't home. She was gone with her father that day. And I just remember getting stung by a bee, leaving her house, and then just crying the whole way home. When my mom came home, I didn't tell her anything that day. I didn't know what to say, how to say it. I'm thinking, dang, I just came back. I just came to live with my mom. Like, am I going to go get sent back? What's going to happen to me? So I didn't say anything, and the abuse continued. I won't. I don't really remember how frequent it was when I was that young, but it was pretty frequent. I would say several times a week. Anytime we were left alone, which, as you can imagine, my mom worked, um, it happened. Whether that be him just playing with my nipples or trying to penetrate me through my butt. He hadn't tried to penetrate me vaginally yet, but yeah, what he was doing was very traumatic. Um, and I'm saying a lot. It's because I'm nervous. Y'all, I'm actually doing very well because I want to cry a little bit. So fast forward a couple years from that, my cousin came, and for the sake of her privacy, I'm not going to say her name, but my cousin came, pulled me to the side, and she was like, "Hey, does so and so do this to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she starts naming a few more things like, "Does he do this to you? Does he do that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Yeah, he does that to me too. We should tell, et cetera, et cetera." And this is my older cousin. She was like 2 years older than me. So I was about 10, 11 at this time. She was 13. So we join together. We go tell our moms, and we thinking, "Oh, yes, we about to be saved from this monster." Wrong. She got beat, and my mom, she said she talked to him, and he said he would never do it again. And that was that. That was the end of the conversation. Like, no one else ever said anything to him about it. My cousin, she never said anything else about it. And as you can imagine, I never said anything else. Did the abuse stop? No, it did not. The older I got, the more frequent it became. Um, when I was in the seventh grade, that is when he started entering me vaginally. And he would do it just enough, in his words, to not pop my cherry. Until one day he actually did pop my cherry. So I didn't even have the privilege of losing my virginity to some knucklehead boy that I probably shouldn't have lost my virginity to anyways, but I would have preferred to have that experience. I lost it to my abuser. After that, it was free game essentially. Once he took my virginity, he treated me as if I was his, I don't want to say sex slave, but that's what it felt like. Whenever he got me alone, he had sex with me. When my mom was gone, and eventually he got so bold to where he would have sex with me in the house while she was there. He would come into my bed at night, and I just couldn't wrap my mind around how she allowed him to do this. And I always felt like, she got to know what's going on, which is why, again, I don't say anything. Um, One day, well, a few months, I go without a cycle. Uh, I was about 13, and then out of nowhere, my cycle appears. And I have this heavy, heavy cycle, like extremely heavy. Knowing what I know now as an adult, I'm pretty sure I was pregnant and I had a miscarriage. Um, and that's was something hard to grasp as an adult. But the abuse continued. Um, in high school, same thing. Whenever he got a chance, he abused me. In high school, I was a little older then, so I was able to run away a little more. I went out with my friends. I spent a lot of time at my friend's house, or I would try to have them come over to my house because I didn't want to be left alone. Well, that stopped him from abusing me, but I put other little girls at risk as well, because I have friends that he did try to hit on or say flirtatious things, to inappropriate things that a father should not be saying to his daughter's friends or to a child for that matter. Um, so I wish I could say how often, like it happened once a week, twice a week, but honestly, it happened so frequently, I didn't count. Um, Probably every day of the week if I had to put a number on it. And about the 10th or 11th grade, I can't remember exactly, he started sleeping in my bed, like consistently sleeping in my bed every night. And every single night, he had sex with me. Um, you're probably wondering, like, how is this going on? And is anybody saying anything? Yes, people were saying something. The rumor was that I was sleeping with my mother's boyfriend. How a child can sleep with her mother's boyfriend, no clue, but that's those are the type of people that I was surrounded by. Um, no one to protect me, no one to take up for me. So what do? I just remain silent. I hide my happiness and kind of what's going on, just of the sake of keeping the family together. Um, and finally, when I went to college, I felt like I was free. Finally, I was free. But I wasn't completely. He did come to visit me at school once with my siblings, and I don't know where my mom was and why she didn't come, but at that time, he convinced me or got me to sleep at the hotel with them. I really didn't want to, but he kind of coerced my siblings into like getting me to stay there. And that was the last time that I allowed him to take advantage of me physically. Um, I didn't say anything, to anyone after that about what had transpired over the years. I just felt like, maybe once I run away, or, I'm in college, I'm not around them anymore, he can't hurt me. I can still be around the family as long as he's not hurting me, molesting me, raping me, because that's what's been transpiring all of these years. Um, and eventually, it did affect the family, but I'll talk about that in my next episode. So, as I was saying, he couldn't hurt me anymore physically. What I mean by that is he no longer had access. I never allowed him to physically have sex with me. But that didn't stop him from grabbing my ass whenever I walk by. Um, just saying things to me about my shape, how I look, just things that were just very uncomfortable. But you can imagine, it's been happening since I was 9. This is just another day, another dollar, whatever. As long as I get to keep my body, as long as he is not having sex with me, I just kind of just tolerated it. Um, Even up until when I graduated college, I moved back home, and I was maybe home for 2 weeks before he started sneaking in my room. I would wake up at some nights to his hands under my pajamas. And at that point, I'm like, I got to get the fuck up out of here. Excuse me. Can I say that? It's YouTube. I can say fuck. But I had to get out of there. And I did. I moved and got my own place. So even though he wasn't physically abusing me, like by penetrating me, he was still abusing me now that I'm sitting here talking about it. So the abuse happened for years, from the age of 9. And if we're going to include the years of him touching my ass and saying inappropriate stuff, I'll say till the age 24, 25, when I finally kind of spoke out on a broader scale and distanced myself from him. So it's really, now that I'm saying that out loud, it's like, wow, I never really realized it, but almost 20 years of abuse, that's that's tough. But I am not that person anymore who allowed that to happen. Hey, baby. I wasn't finished. No, you're fine. Well, I can't record. My bad. Slight interruption. And I want to retract what I said. I said I'm not the same person that allowed that to happen. I didn't allow anything to happen to me. I was groomed, and I was abused. So I am not the same person that happened to, because I found my voice and I started speaking up for myself and going against what's wrong. And you're probably wondering, well, Sharice, what made you take this step? What made you stop allowing him to do these things to you? Well, I was triggered. And I was triggered because it happened again, but not to me, to someone else. But I won't get in that today. You'll have to join me next week, well, in 2 weeks, to hear more about that. But I want to thank you all for sticking with me this long. If you have, I know it's a pretty lengthy episode, but again, this is my truth. This is my story. And I hope that me sharing this helps other people to share their stories and for them to know that their story doesn't have to define them. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you all in a couple of weeks. Bye.